Andrew, can you hear us?
He's muted.
Yeah.
That's because of me.
Oh, wait, no, his video's off, right?
Well, it says he's muted. Andrew, can you hear us? We can't hear you if you're talking.
Wait, no, there he is. Yeah, see see the mic button?
Uh-huh.
Not, that's the video, but that one. Oh, wow.
It's
Then I stop.
I don't think so.
Should be allowed them. You can't force something.
I'm trying to make a decision. I'm doing the mental Olympics. In my head.
Report.
I can tell you are
Deep in thought.
Andrew, can you hear us?
Yeah, so.
You did that asshole on you. She probably has.
I'm gonna work on my, actually looking at you sometimes.
Hey Brandon, hey Jimmy.
Hey, how are you?
What is pieces of managed?
When you got tattoos together, so here's the arrow, I've got the bow. Not a Sagittarius, most people have good. Are you a Sagittarius? I can get Sagittarius, whichever one has the bow. I'm not that. You are.
Somewhere along the way of life, I put my pin.
Danya is not coming. She is sick.
Oh, no.
He has to work. Are you? What are you thinking about?
Public comment.
Never shot before. I
Well, because if, you know,
don't know.
technically, I mean, not really technically, if I'm reporting on something, I'm not supposed to like.
Yeah.
You know.
Do I have, can I sit down there so I can see some around? Or do I have?
Just,
You can move your name thing.
oh, yeah. If you want.
He has a mic. I'm sure it's on. It's red. Yeah, it's red.
That's it, that's it. Oh, you see.
Ooh,
my God. Why did you bring Dr. Pepper sitting down here too? A lot of this.
Andrew, can you hear us?
I just don't think I think he's muted still. That's what it looks like.
But I can't unmute him and he's not. Yeah, I think so.
Talk to me over there.
Look at the host tools. You should. You probably have to walk out.
Meeting, enable waiting room.
But yeah,
Participants.
but that one,
They can chat.
he may have himself on it, that may be what it
It
is.
says on your.
That is on.
Yes.
That's on.
Yeah, I mean, it might just be him.
Mhm.
So.
Okay.
Give us something.
Do you have a cell phone?
I have a number.
I don't have it. Do you have it?
I have a number. I can go get one.
Okay, get that number and I'll call.
Well, I hate to call it father if he's not up there because, whoo, oh, I'm so sorry, so sorry.
It's a lot of work out.
Maybe it's my mic.
No, you can hear you. You're coming through.
Andrew, are you there?
Hello, Andrew. You're on mute. Can you unmute?
Yeah, look at it on you.
You're on mute. We can't hear you. Send us a chat if you can't unmute. There's nothing in the chat. I guess if you wanted to call it to order and you can discuss the wish list, it's up to y'all.
Hello, everyone. City of Smithville Special Called Council Meeting, July 16, 2026. Notice is hereby given pursuant to the Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, that the City of Smithville will conduct a special called meeting on July 16, 2026 at 5 p.m. in the council chambers of City Hall 317 Main Street, Smithville, Texas. I call this meeting to order. Andrew, just in time.
Can you hear us?
No.
We can't hear you if you're trying to talk. You look like you're unmuted.
We can't hear you, Andrew. Give him a chat and see if he can get the chat. Tell him we can't hear him.
I spelled that wrong, sorry. Oh, okay. Okay, let's see. There's echo canceling, mic noise removal, personal. That's good. Okay. And our phone is good? Yeah. In test. Okay, maybe he's gonna fix it.
Maybe I'm just irritated.
Didn't we talk about the engineering stuff in your?
Yep. Well, we're just going to go on till we get Andrew lined up. The first item on here is presentation, discussion, and possible action by Samco Capital Markets, the city's financial advisor regarding the city's financial obligations. And so before us, we have been supplied a tax note. The different things that are on the tax note presently is engineering for our taxiway, The city match it, the engineering for the taxway is 300K.
City match is only 30.
City match is only 30,000.
And then the same for the AWAS, it's not 200,000, it's 20,000.
It's a
Yeah.
10% match.
Yeah, but,
The caveat with it though, is we do have to come up with the full funding.
and then
in
it
order
gets
for
back to
this.
us.
Yeah,
And we'll put
exactly.
it back into the tax note to use.
But
Go ahead.
we had talked with, Brandon and I have been talking about this with Sandy, and we don't, if we do it as like a 500K revenue, we don't have to do it right now. Whenever he needs that, we could go out and we could make a revenue bond. And then he could pay it back out of airport funds when it was needed to be paid back, the 50,000.
The only concern with that, I think the discussion we were having was more for the actual run or the taxiway construction. Because the funding need for the engineering and the AWAS is coming a lot faster than I think we can get a revenue bond, because we're gonna have to put a plan together for the hangars and actually generating a revenue plan for the airport that's a lot larger. And I don't know that we can get that done and revenue bonds issued in time to meet the deadlines for this.
So that's the reason why we're not put it.
Yeah, but potentially, there is most of this money will be kind of sitting in a tax note. I don't necessarily know it needs to come out of a
Yeah.
new tax note.
Well, we don't, right now, we just spent 250,000 out of the million. And we're probably gonna have to spend quite a bit more of
Yeah.
that with roads and other things. So my sentiments about that, and here's what I'm thinking. If we just do the electric and water meters, our tax note's gonna be about $7 on each bill, am I correct? Or for that, am I correct,
I
Cynthia?
think Andrew could answer that if he can hear us.
Can you hear us, Andrew?
I can hear you all. Can y'all hear me?
We
Yeah.
can.
Okay.
If
Not
we
sure
went
what the,
$3 million or a $3,200,000 tax note that would basically just cover what we need for water and electric meters, that would turn out to about $7 for every household? Or
can somebody provide me the current number of connections?
it's like 21 or 2,200?
Okay, so I have here
It's about
2,091.
What did he say?
2091. That would
Yes.
just,
And I was gonna say there's about 2,100 or so, like, it depends on if you're looking at electric or water, whichever one you're looking at. Cause I know there's more electric customers, like if you're gonna put this fee on everybody's utility bill, there's more of those than like if you just looked at straight water or something like that. But, so it's around 2,200 utility customers that we have.
Okay. If we just use round numbers at 2,200, that the surcharge to pay for a $3.1 million tax note, because that was the last number I'd heard, but this will give you a rough estimate. That's roughly $500,000 a year in debt service. That's nearly $20 per month in a surcharge that will need to be implemented to generate that $500,000.
No, we don't need to issue, or we don't need to replace the water meters currently. I know we were looking at the water meters because we were hoping to be able to get out of the capital lease that we have on the current water and electric meter system. But it sounds like that's not going to be a possibility from what I understand. So I personally would be more comfortable only looking at the electric meters at this point and replacing those.
And what does that cost? $1 million?
2.2?
2.2, something like, or 2 million, something around 2 million.
Okay, at the $2.1 million number that we were looking at again previously, and 2,200 connections, that's roughly $13 to $14 per connection for a tax note. Now, one of the things that we had talked about when we last discussed this, a tax note has to be amortized over 7 years or less. Now, the useful life of these assets that we're talking about exceeds that 7 years. So we can issue a longer amortizing debt It would be a certificate of obligation, and that could go from anywhere from 1 to 30 years if you wanted to, but we may want to look at amortizing it over 15 years if we're concerned about the monthly surcharge that will be required to repay this, because that if we're talking about $14 a month over a 7-year amortization, if we amortize it over 15 years, you're cutting that number in half to, again, roughly like $7 per month.
So that would mean if we did if we looked at the electric and water and had the money there for both of them, that would add up to about a $10 surcharge for everyone over a 15 years. Am I correct in assuming that? If we did 3.1 million?
3.1 million, that's about $11. 3.1 million over 15 years can be about $11 per connection.
And that would be a C of O is what you're talking about there.
Correct.
Okay. And the reason I look at this, we just did a tax note last year. I don't mind doing the stuff for the electric meters that we're doing, but having to do all this other stuff and putting this on our taxpayers' backs just does not, I don't think we can do it.
One thing that I would also kind of just like to point out from the math is the quote that we've been given for hiring a third-party service to read our meters is $20,000 a month. That sounds like a lot, but I don't know who made the noise, but if you times that by 12 months times 7 years, that's less than $1.7 million. And I kind of asked the question, especially, I mean, the useful life, yes, is higher, but the warranty on these is only for a year on the new meters. And I wonder, I mean, that's hiring a third party to bring them in, to put them room and board, to feed them, to do all that stuff is $20,000 to get the timing that I know Cynthia needs. I just wonder about the cost.
Well, I here's how I have to look at it. It's okay. That 1.7, we won't have a tax note because that kind of service can't be paid out of a tax note. So that's going to still be on the taxpayer's back, and it's going to be a much higher charge because it's going to be, you're going to have that 20,000 every year. I just, to me, yeah, 20,000 a month, and that's however much it is. I still,
Well, that's
I
what I'm
have
trying
some
to say
angst.
is,
Yeah, I have some angst with that.
what is the total interest on the 1 point or the 2.1?
I just have the 2.1 over 7 years, but that's $337,000 in interest.
So it's 2.5 over 7 years versus 1.7. And that's
Correct.
we're the third party this.
And can I just say that $20,000 per month to read? I thought that was just to get us by until we got our new meters.
I mean, I understand
Oh, okay.
that,
Okay.
but I'm trying to use that as an argument, a visualization of that's a third party. That is them putting mileage, room and board, per diems, all that kind of stuff. Is $20,000. What does it look like if we did it and we hired some people?
Yep.
That's my question.
I think if we're going to hire people and we do that in-house, once you look at what we have to pay them, the benefits and everything else, I think that's going to be, because you're going to need about 3 to 4 people to be able to get all the meters, and I'm not sure even that will be enough. So my sentiments is that is going to be a much larger charge in-house.
Okay.
And the 2.1 million is for electric meters, and our electric meters are are done. That's the easiest way to put it, that we have got to do something. And so if we did a $2.1 million certificate of obligation for 15 years, It'd be roughly $11.
No, that's the 3.1, I believe. The $11 is if you do both meters. Is that not correct, Andrew? 11.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's
Give me-
3.1 million, and we get the electric
I wrote down.
and
What was
and
two
the
point
water.
one? So what was,
Just the electric. But
Okay.
What we're
I
gonna be
see.
facing the water soon enough. And my sentiments is we also have, while we're looking at this, ESG is gonna come out Monday and we're gonna walk around and they're talking about doing a retrofit and they may give us a better price
Yeah.
than what we're getting from the other bidder. So if we get a better price, then we can pay ESG to do it. It's less money, even though we have the tax note, and then we have a little bit money left in the tax note to help with some of these other things.
And admittedly, I'm pretty partial to
Yeah.
avoiding Amoresco at this point.
Yeah.
The other thing that, through a discussion that I had with Cynthia, that Jimmy and I had with Cynthia, is it seems like a lot of our debt will start being finished and paid off in 2029. 2 fiscal years.
Andrew will know, but I think in 2 years, I think couple of our one of our tax notes and one of our C of Os, I think is coming off. I know one of the tax notes comes off in like 2 years.
Yeah, we've got, so we
Budget
look at it in, you know, 2 ways. There's the general fund or the INS tax supported debt. And that really drops from, we're about $1.2 million a year, and that drops to about $942,000 a year in 2030. On the utility side, some of our old debt, our COs from 2007 mature in 28. And so we'll see that drop off by about $350,000 beginning in fiscal 2029.
Yeah.
Or really, it drops off by about $250,000 because we structured some debt with higher payments, knowing that would go away back in 2019.
Are we able to, if we were to move forward with the CFO, are we able to structure the payments to where they can be minimal for the first couple of years until that debt is cleared in 29?
We can. And so we can look at, you know, some different structures for mitigating some of these increases. One of the things that, you know, I need to visit with you all about is in looking at your 2025 financial performance in the utility fund, we're transferring out, the utility's making money. And then we transfer out back to what I believe is the general fund, a large amount of money, so that net our utility fund is losing money. And that's, I'll say that's okay in the short term. We've got a great financial position, but one that needs to be addressed prospectively, because we can't afford, without altering our rates, especially if we're going to issue more debt, to run the utility where it loses money each year. And Cynthia may have some better answers as to, you know, whether those transfers would be going down, if they were transfers out for, you know, some capital projects. But I just want to point that out that, you know, we may need some adjustment to rates just in response to increasing cost to run the utility.
I think until we get more revenue coming in the general fund, that transfer is not going to go down.
Yeah, because it's mainly for the just normal operating kind of stuff to help balance the budget for operating. There's not a lot of, your capital stuff has been we've got the tax notes for.
Yeah.
So we've tried to move the transfer down every year, but it just never seems to work out.
Yeah.
Just as a
Wait.
point, because I don't know, when's the last time we went up on our water or electric rates?
I believe the
It was
water-
a couple of years, because I know we didn't do it last year,
Yeah, I
and
didn't
then we
think-
might not have did it the year before.
I thought it would, the big one was 2023 is when.
I think
think it's
2020,
2023.
yeah, I was gonna say, I think
ESG
2023.
do a rate study?
Yeah, they did a rate study,
Yeah,
but
but they have no impact because what their rate study was about was what the wastewater was, and because it's
okay.
going into the other, there was no impact.
Okay.
yeah.
Anyways, my question about the 2029 debt was mainly there's a lot of things on this list, and I think it would be wise, like I understand some of this is truly needed, But I feel like we're kind of on this curve right now where we're starting to get a lot of interest on the 95 corridor for development, annexation, sales tax generation. We're starting to see the stuff while we're also seeing the debt coming down. And if some of this can be pushed off for a couple fiscal years until our debt is more under control, I think that's a really wise thing to do.
Well, this is, we told them, give us your wish list, and this is basically their wish list.
Yeah.
So it's not an absolute what everybody needs right now. It's just what they want. But the good thing is as you said, our debt's coming down. We should have more, when Tractor Supply comes online, we will have a definite big nudge up in our sales tax. We are beginning to get interest where there's more homes building. We're gonna have more property
Property
tax
tax and
before it's all over with. So I think if just 1 year, I think, but I get 2 from the max, but if we can just hold off another year, I think we're gonna be in a much better position
I do too.
next year.
I mean, if we need to issue maybe like $500,000 or something for like critical things that because the issue with Gasly, I don't think any one of us saw that needing to happen.
No, and that's done, and there's still 3/4 in there. And how much more do we have in all the remaining tax notes? Do you have a figure for how much is left in them?
I can go get it. I've got reports.
Could you do that,
For-
please, ma'am?
End of
Yeah,
May.
yeah, that will work.
You need to just pull it up. It was in the report.
Oh, yeah, if you have, it should be in the notes from our last budget meeting.
Minus
Yeah.
the 250.
Yeah, minus the
I
250
mean,
part.
it's not spent, so whatever is on there is gonna be basically what we still have available. And you allocated the 250. We haven't spent it yet, so it's still technically there.
Okay.
I still think we have enough from all the cumulative past notes in them that maybe we can survive a year without having to do
'Cause-
this. Because Andrew always makes it so you can buy the kitchen sink if you need to. He makes it wide enough. We do appreciate you making the tax notes and everything with a wide enough breadth so we can get everything we can need. Yeah, if we need a new kitchen sink, we can find it.
It'd be at the-
The other thing, I mean, I guess
At the 23 or the 25.
That's a 23. You want both of them, right?
Yeah, the 23 should have about 20, if you go down to the bottom. That one has about 24,000 that is not been allocated to any specific purpose.
You said 74,000?
25,000. I think if she goes to
How much has been spent though? That's what I'm looking
Well,
at.
okay, so now you're in the 25. Go back to the 23. At the 23.
This is it.
Yeah, so go down to the bottom where you kind of see the pinkish color. So the orange, go back up just a tad. Go up a little bit more. So right there, unallocated funds, there's roughly 25,000. I can't read the number, 25.
8,999?
Yeah,
It's almost 30,000, 29,000.
28. Okay, it's 29. So of the 23, that much is not allocated. If you look below those lines, you can see that y'all have approved like the grants and some of those things that are not quite finished yet.
Yeah.
So there's like, we set aside 50,000 in that one for the aqua water, which I think I got a invoice or something for that. And the roofing at the rec center, I know they're in the process of doing that. We just don't have the bills yet.
Yeah.
But y'all kind of allocated that, but there is 30,000 sitting in this one, plus whatever the interest is going to be, that's going to be remaining. There'll be a little bit of interest.
The interest accruing on the 29, plus
Yeah,
the.
well, whatever, because
there's a
there's,
lot still in there that
if she
isn't.
scrolls down a little bit more, the checking account has $394,000 sitting in it that's not been spent yet. You've allocated all of that, but 30,000 of it.
Yeah, and if you go back up, the one thing I want to show you is we have 50,000 to pay for Aqua, and Aqua is actually 100,000.
Yeah, so you'll
So,
have to
so
come.
we're gonna have to find another 50,000 within the. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Whatever we have to pay is where we are.
But they're going to help us out by doing all the legal fees and that, but it did start out at 300,000 and they
Yeah.
were gracious enough to come to the 100,000 and do the legal fees.
And
Yeah,
Avenat will
50
be
on 50.
finished and done at the end, or at the end of the July, 1st of August, so that's already spent. The transfer, the brush dump fence, that's gonna be spent. Switch for the servers, so
Yeah,
that's all
the
done.
the ones within the column that have zeros at the end, that's already been spent.
Yeah,
The others just allocated.
okay,
Yeah.
repair recreation, we cannot not do that. We have to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, then it looks
But
like we have about 20.
And so, yeah, so so this one you have right at 30,000 plus some interest.
Okay, what's the 25?
So if she goes all the way to the bottom.
Too much?
So the checking account has what, 2.4?
2.3.
2.4 is what you haven't spent yet. Now, some of that, you'd have to go back and look at the individual lines.
Yeah, let's do that.
Some
please.
stuff has been allocated and approved where you see like council approved. Those are line items that are approved, but the stuff in black is numbers that hasn't been actually allocated or approved by y'all to be spent. So technically you could move any of that you wanted to. you
Okay,
know.
so playground equipment, I want to get Culver Park and concession done, but if we can put it off a year, I think we may have to.
I agree. We need
Yeah.
to be
Can I ask just a quick question?
Yes, sir.
For any projects that you all are considering including in this either certificate of obligation or tax note from funds that don't already exist from prior tax note issues, are any of them intended to be funded through the general fund, the INS tax rate?
Everything else would be probably through the INS tax rate.
Except for the meters.
Yeah, Andrew, because,
Well, the big things that we're considering are airport and utilities.
yeah,
So it's actually not general fund. And I mean, if we're saying, hey, let's wait a couple years to not do these things for a
Mhm.
year.
Yeah.
I mean, really the only things on here are airport, which Andrew, we have separate fund coming up, new fiscal year. And then the meters, which would hit the utility fund.
yeah, and the engineering stuff, it can be, if we're gonna have to pay that out, we have that big money in the infrastructure. It could pay for that and then we would get paid back for it. So it would work regardless either way.
And I don't know if it's been approached to you yet, Andrew, but essentially what is happening is the airport, they are going to be doing engineering for a taxiway. Currently it's maxed at 300. We have to pay up front, but it's a 10% city match. So we'll get 290,000 back after after it's completed and TxDOT pays us back or whoever the grant's through. Then there's an AWAS that's similar, 200,000 up front, 180 coming back after city match once it's completed. But in 2028, there is going to be the taxiway construction, I believe, rough numbers off the top of my head, was 2.8 million. That has a 10% city match. So we would be on the hook. We'd have to fund everything up front. But then we would get
200,000.
80% back.
80% back. It cost us 200,000.
But there is a seemingly increasing desire. We have 150 people on our hangar waiting list. There's a lot of people that are willing to sell LOI or to sign LOIs for funding. So potentially can the airport stuff be done through revenue bonds instead of other methods?
So we had a conversation, this goes back probably about a month, with Robert Andrade over at the about the airport and a proposed, project out there that a developer, maybe approaching you all about. I've done recently a couple of certificates of obligation to construct airport hangars that the city constructs, the city owns, or the airport owns, and then leases out to individuals. And so we can do that. Airport financings are tricky from a tax perspective, given the FAA regulation. So we wouldn't be able to sell them together with these tax exempt COs. They're sold based on what's called AMT, alternative minimum tax, which is a different income tax structure than traditional taxes. So that would be done separately, but certainly something we can do, and actually been successful the last place that the 2 times we've done it, in that there's been a high demand, just like you're talking about. So that is something that we can do.
So could we potentially even issue a C of O to be able to build, I mean, do the engineering, do the AWAS, build the taxiway, knowing we're going to get 90% of that money back and then push that into hangars?
Yes, I mean, that is something we can do. One of the questions I'm going to need to run by your bond attorney is, we're talking about, it sounds like $500,000 in between the taxiway and the AWAS projects. We need to
Upfront
borrow for.
and then 90% back.
Yeah, but for the purposes of issuing the debt, it's $500,000. I want to make sure that if that's going to be an issue, that we wouldn't be able to sell this together with, the money for the electric meters and any other projects you have that would be tax exempt, because then it would be a separate security. And that's not an issue, but it's one that I need to sort out. But it'd be $500,000 for airport projects. And then we're talking about the meters at 3.1 or 3.2 million.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are there,
3.2 is really what we need to look at with that. I
That's
believe
going to
in the
be
middle.
electric and water. Are we ready
Yeah.
to replace the water right now?
I think we're going to have a bid. I think we need to replace the water at the same time. That way they're going to fail within a year. I mean, that's all we've got. Is that not what we have right now,
We've
Jennifer?
got Mueller right now, and
Yeah,
they're the
yeah.
ones that have.
Water's not Mueller though, right?
No, it is. Both of them are
Both of them
Mueller.
are Mueller.
All these meters were Mueller.
Okay. I was understanding that it was only the electric that was.
No,
They're the ones that-
Mueller sold us everything.
Yeah, Mueller, it's all Mueller, but the electric is not, they're not supporting electric anymore, but they're still doing the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that will fall off. And
I don't know. I mean, we never know with Mueller.
What I had
I-
heard at one point was that Mueller wasn't planning on getting out of the water business. They were
no,
only getting out of the
they've always been in the water business.
Yeah.
That's their main deal. When they did this electric, I don't know, that was a one-off.
Yeah.
But I think in the long run, especially if we look and they're going to do a retrofit with what ESG says, I think we need to put the money in there just in case we need it.
What if we do the electric now and then bundle the water with the wastewater, the water meters with the wastewater approval?
You mean put it into the ESG that they're going to do? We can do that, but I'm hesitant
I mean, it would only put it behind a year.
because I'm still not sold on what they're presenting.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is sustainability partners, I think is where our hesitation is.
Mhm.
ESG themselves.
ESG,
seem
fine.
solid.
Yeah,
But I guess where I'm at is instead of getting the financing for the water meters to hit the utility bills, we could roll that into the revenue that's been generating for the sludge and use that to cover that portion of the water meters.
I'm all good with that, but, and then this is just me, I want to have that stuff for the water meters in case all of a sudden there is a catastrophic fail. We could have that money in the tax note, and if we had to use it, we could. If we didn't, it would be, as this says, the kitchen sink that Andrew does, and we would be able to use it for some of these other stuff. But that would all be tax, that would be under the fee, and it would have to be an infrastructure. Am I correct, Andrew?
it's going to be eligible to be spent on whatever we include as the use of proceeds here.
Do we know
Okay.
what this would look like if it it hit the INS instead of utility fee?
I don't have that precisely because I don't know what well, let's see. I've got I think, preliminary values. It would be a sizable increase in your INS tax rate.
She took your spot, Tyrone.
Tyrone, you can sit right down there if you don't want to turn your head.
No.
Yeah. I know that you have another meeting coming up in a little bit, so I want to make sure that we're paying attention to that. But man, $20 a month is a lot.
$20.
Is a lot, but he's telling us if we do the 15-year note, it won't be 20. It's only going to be 11.
It'd be $11 a month for the,
I mean, how long have we had the current meters? Like 6 years?
2015, right?
2015.
Years.
Yeah, so it's been a long time. And the deal is as Andrew said, the life of the meters, that's how you're going off of this. Am I right? That's how you're able to get whatever we're doing here is because the life of the meters extends out like 15 years.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll say that's theory more than experience.
Yeah.
Because they're touted to have a longer service life, but here we are talking about replacing 10-year-old meters.
Earlier, I asked about the restructuring to be able to have minimal payments in the first couple of years, more later. What does that look like? I mean, I understand that's gonna be a complicated calculation, so I don't see you doing that right now, but I mean, could we get down to a couple dollars a month, knowing that the 320,000 a year is gonna be available in a couple of years?
You could probably get down to about $4 a month, but you have to remember, you kick out principal into later years, you increase interest cost. Now it's not linear, but I want to be mindful of that too. We can certainly do that in the short term. One of my concerns for you all, and it's not unique to Smithville, the cost of water and sewer and infrastructure projects on utilities is going up. Demand is going up. The cost of water is going up. Y'all are looking down the barrel of a wastewater treatment plant that is going to be very expensive. Now, whether or not a third party owns that, they're passing those rates on to your customers. So, and I'm not trying to minimize what we're talking about here, but the financing that we're talking about, whether it's $3.2 million, it pales in comparison to what the financial impact of a new wastewater treatment plant is going to be 5 years from now, whenever that is constructed and comes online.
We're gonna get.
It's more like,
60%.
well, if everything starts, we will be, if we approve them in August, they will start construction and we should be done in 18 months to 2 years and they're live.
yes.
That's where we are right now. That's when we talk about the sustainability partners, they are the one with a structure for us to finance it all. They basically own the stuff and we make 2 payments a year to them. But we also have the ability, if we bring in the sludge, to make anywhere from 1.7 to $3 million a year out of that to pay for that and accelerate it so we pay it off in 10 years. Now that's in theory, and most people don't make money off of their wastewater. Austin is the only one that I know that really does this.
Can we pass the meeting minutes on to Andrew from our last ESG meeting?
I don't see why
Because I think it
not.
has some of the revenue forecasts and stuff like that for.
I don't see why we couldn't. That's just, that's outside of that. You're just telling, we're talking to you about this. We're
Yeah.
just telling you what we're planning on doing.
Sure. No, I understand that. And I think, like I mentioned to you all earlier when we last spoke, I'd be very interested to see the, proposed lease agreement or contract with sustainability partners. That agreement, it's a debt by another name. And so, I want to make sure, or at least, run through that with you all about exactly what those terms are. I certainly understand the promise of bringing in sludge and offsetting cost. I think that's, in reality, it's an assumption. If the sludge never materializes, you're stuck with, that debt payment. Just as we've learned with this capital lease agreement with, Mueller, you can't just make it go away if there's a lack of performance, by whoever the vendor is. So I would like to, look at that and visit with you all at another time, but before y'all enter anything in August.
Is the contract, the one that they sent us that was kind of a look-see, Jennifer, could we send that to him from Sustainability Partners? I think it was like a 10 to 40 pages.
10 to 40.
I don't remember. Well, the contract was 10, the appendix
Yeah.
and all the other stuff that went with it was extra. And Andrew would know more about that than anybody I know.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I can send it to you, Andrew. It was just very generic. It had no solid numbers in there.
Do you have the, do you get the meeting minutes from ESG?
I don't think I got.
I have them from Clint. The other thing, Andrew,
You can forward
is,
them on to, forward to him.
what we're talking about right now, what we have been thrown back and forth, and we'll have the solid number in August, is $27 million to build a new one, refurbish the one, and then build a pressure line, shut down Gasly, and we will have a wastewater line, a pressure wastewater line that moves over to Willows. Now, also in this and what they are doing, they have, right now, I think we have 9 or 10 septic tank people that do sludge. They have signed agreements that they will come to us to get that. They've already signed preliminary agreements because it's windshield time. If we're charging what Austin is charging, the windshield time for that makes a big difference to them. So
Okay, that's great.
yeah, I wasn't going to do that unless they could actually prove to me that they could go out and get me something.
And they seem to be, they're working in some nearby counties. And so I forwarded the minutes that have those discussions and everything into Jennifer, and she'll forward it on along with that contract.
Okay. Well, so my last question before I have to jump off for you all, the time sensitive nature of this. Now, when we've sold tax notes before, it's occurred right, as we're adopting the budget, and it's been driven by our need to be able to set our INS tax rate.
Yeah.
Given that we are talking about issuing debt for the utility fund, we are not constrained by the same kind of time sensitive issue of adopting the tax rate. So
same for the airport fund too.
And then same for the airport, because it's not relative to our, truth in taxation, setting the tax rate. So what is the kind of time frame that you need the money for the meters? Is it
the meters
imminent?
Yeah, the meters completely stop in February. We'd like to start replacing them sometime probably October, November, because it's going to take a while to get them all. It's going to take a while to have all this. So we need to be able to start moving forward. Equipment always takes a minute for it to arrive. You know how it is.
Absolutely. Because y'all meet on the second Monday, I think, is your regular meeting.
Correct.
And so for issuing certificates of obligation, there's an extra legal step we have to take where you all as a council adopt a notice of intention resolution that states we intend to borrow this much money for these purposes, and we're going to take official action at this council meeting at least 6 weeks in the future. So if we take August 10th as the meeting where you adopt that notice of intention resolution, we're at basically your first meeting in October to actually sell those certificates of obligation, and the money would be delivered in, call it early November.
We do have a special called meeting. I believe it's the 30th. Yeah, the 30th of July. Does that?
Okay, that is good to know. We can certainly do that.
That gives us a little more time. But
Yes.
November is a good date, because if we know we're going to issue and know that they're going to do that, that gets us, we can start ordering in November, and before the first of the year, we can start replacing.
So September 10th would be 6 weeks from July 30th, and our meeting September 14th.
And on Monday, Andrew, as I said, ESG's coming out. We're going to do a walkthrough and talk about what they want to do with the electric and the water meters. They may be cheaper, as I say. They have said they believe they can deliver a better product at a better price. So we'll just wait and see what they have to say.
And so that was going to be the last thing I kind of mentioned to you all. When we adopt that notice of intention resolution, you're setting the borrowing amount that you will not exceed. And so we can always scale back the borrowing. If we say that we're going to borrow $4 million and we adopt, we pass that notice of intention resolution at July 30th meeting. If we get to September 1st and you all have a better fact pattern from ESG and say, you know what, we don't need $4 million, we need $2 million. We can always sell less than we have noticed.
Perfect.
We just can't sell more.
That sounds good because that makes it so that we are putting less burden on our citizens. I like that.
Yeah.
So we could just put this at whatever y'all think. I mean, like,
Let's do 3.5.
3.5. We can do this at 3.5. And then it's not going to be.
Don't we need 3.7 million if it's $500,000 for the taxiways and 3.2 million for?
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize that was going to be grouped together. Yeah, 3.7.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want
Do we want to round that up to 4 million if we were rounding the?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's round it up. Let's do that. 4 million sounds good.
And then we'll have more
Okay.
information on where we need to go from there as we go forward with the meters and the water and.
Do we need to make a motion that we are telling him to move forward?
I would say so.
Okay.
Alright.
We're going to make a motion so that we can move you forward. Okay.
Okay.
Mayor, if you're ready, I'll make a motion that we have Samco move forward with the process to issue $4 million in a C of O that we will use for the airport and for our water and electric meters
To be presented at July 30th.
to be presented at the July 30th council.
A second.
Motion been made in second. Washington, Dunham,
Yes, yes.
Griffin. Yes. It's approved. Okay.
Okay. I'm going to visit with the attorneys on the airport stuff. I will come up with a timetable of events, memorializing the timing that we're talking about here. And I will get agenda language and everything else over to you all ahead of that special meeting on July 30th. And then we can always visit in the meantime. But we've got obviously time between now and September 14th to work on the structure and, everything else. But we'll get to work on this. And then I'd like to look into the ESG proposal and sustainability partners as y'all are working through that as well.
I
That's
will have a
great.
question. I don't know if it needs to happen today or by the July 30th meeting, but I'd like to understand and make sure that the fees for the 500 for the airport will come from the airport and not from the utility fund. Like utility bills.
It'll come from the airport.
After we start the airport's account, we can start taking what we need to pay out of that for it. When they are no longer have money, if they don't, then the city has to pay it. But we will be trying to make sure that the airport is staying within its own budget.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that.
I will, for my part, I will provide you all with an amortization schedule for just the airport's portion.
Yeah.
So that you can work that into the airport's budget for the coming year.
Perfect.
And so that we're charging an appropriate amount to our utility customers. And if we want to further strip out what are water and sewer meters from electric meters, we can also do that. If that's helpful to you all. I see it all as water, sewer, and electric based upon your audit. That's what bond investors see. But if it's helpful for you all, we can certainly look at it that way if that's helpful for determining surcharges. If you've got folks that are electric ratepayers and others that are only water, sewer, and vice versa, if you need to come up with two different surcharges.
I'm okay with one.
That's
Do you have a reason otherwise?
Is that good?
No. So
I'm good with that too.
yeah, we're all good, Andrew. Thank you. Doing all that extra work, we really do appreciate it.
I'm
Okay.
always happy to. I will be in touch with you all, and I'm sorry I have to cut this short.
No, you're good.
This has been very helpful.
For some
It was the last
information.
6
Thank you.
meeting, so I appreciate it.
Bye.
You're
Thank
very
you.
welcome.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
The next item on the agenda was a closed meeting, which we will not be going into closed session. And so, no, we don't have Danya here. And so at this time, we will not go into closed session. And so we did discussion and action on executive session, none. And so this meeting is adjourned.